Hello everyone, welcome to Jamaica 411. Thank you so much for stopping by, keeping me company as usual. If you're here with me for the first time, welcome. Please subscribe, share the video, give the video a thumbs up, and feel free to leave your comments in the comments section. If you are my subscribers and my regular viewers, welcome back. Always nice to have you. And of course, you know the ropes. I'm going to give the video a thumbs up from now on. Share, return, and then we can get down to business. Of course, you know, I don't have to tell you to leave your comments because you always do, and that's very nice of you. And I enjoy reading them. And you know, as always, I thank you in advance. All right, so see, I'm hustling through the introduction. Yes, because I want to get to the business at hand. And now that you're back with me, let's get on with it. So, of course, you know, the JLP had its conference on Sunday, November 24, 2024. Well, for sure, the Jamaica Labour Party conference looked like it did turn up. It was a good conference. I particularly like the way they lay out the information that they were bringing to the laborites who were gathered, as well as the country. Speaker after speaker dealt with different matters affecting people. Their main focus, though, were the ordinary people, you know, those persons who were, poor and so on, and the disadvantaged. But what I found very, very interesting, though, was the clear attempt by the speakers to distinguish the Jamaica Labour Party from the People's National Party. That was what was also evident in the presentations that you saw when Juliet Holness spoke about the females and how they promote females in the Labour Party and put them in high-ranking positions. It was her intention to play on the misogynistic accusations that has been made against the PNP, you know, like they don't like women, they victimize women, and so on. And this would have been from Portia's days. Some of the nastiest things that were said about Portia actually came during the election campaign for the presidency, and it came from within the party. The Laborites took it up and run with it. It can't say it ever did them any good, because, you know, people don't like that sort of thing, you know. So that was what I saw. Presentation of Julia Cuthbert was quite good too. She took quite a number of jabs at the PNP. It will be interesting to hear how the party responds this morning to the various presenters. But I know you never come to hear me nattering. You come to hear what the boss had to say and all the goodies he had to offer. And I should say, and I think I can speak on your behalf, may I? Yes, thank you very much. I must say that it was an excellent presentation and an attempt to deal with this matter that we have been calling for here on Jamaica 411, and happily you are all in agreement with me as well, for the most part, that the government really need to look to dealing with the cost of living. Make an attempt. You can't just look and say this is happening in the world. Nobody now elect the world, let me elect you. And therefore you must use your brain, man. Use your brain and come with solutions, not excuses. And what we saw yesterday was an attempt at a solution. So he spoke again about the Troy Bridge, yes, because we over here been talking about that Troy Bridge and talking about the whole heap of money in the NIR. And me still say, Mas Andrew, say the NIR too big. 5.7 billion US. But he's saying that them had the money, put one side for these things. It's the bureaucracy that is the cause of why it wasn't done. In the Prime Minister's presentation, he did speak extensively about the bureaucracy and that something needs to be done about it. As to whether he actually said he was going to do anything about it, I'm not sure. I think the government is mortified to twiddle with any of these systems that were put in place ostensibly to curb corruption. But you are the leader, Mas Andrew. Nobody elected the private sector, right? They elected you. And you were elected to find solutions to the problems. So you deal with it. As long as when you fix it, the effect in terms of the curb of corruption, nepotism, cronyism, and all of that the rules and laws were set up to prevent in the first place, as long as what you implement either maintains that level of prevention of corruption or exceeds the ability to prevent corruption, as long as what you put in place does that and the approvals can be done in a timely fashion, then that is what is important. Don't worry about the other set of people. Nobody elected them. All right? That's my suggestion. Anyway, let everyone listen to what you had to say. I will keep it as short as possible because I know many of you have seen it already. I'm going to bring you the salient points because I'm going to have something to say on them when he is through. All right, so I'm going to let you listen now, and then I'll return with a few of my observations, comments, and so on. So let's listen now.
I make special mention of our friends from the Maroon community who are here with us. And you, the faithful laborites that form the bedrock of the Jamaica Labour Party. I greet you in the name of our eternal Father, who has blessed our land, who has guarded us with his mighty hand, who has been our light through countless hours of trials, and who grants us the wisdom and the strength to lead this nation to peace and prosperity and victory for the third term. We are a young nation, but as a people, we have been in a long struggle to secure our freedom, political independence, which we have done. Today's struggle is about achieving our economic independence. Our national hero, the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey, believed in achieving economic independence. He said, Jamaica should become the headquarters of a great industrial, commercial, and cultural movement. We want to be able to employ our own people, to build up our own business, to create wealth for ourselves. We must have a people with a self-reliant economic base. We must build the foundations of our economic system. Marcus Garvey would be proud of what this government has achieved today, fulfilling the vision of economic independence. More Jamaicans are employed now than at any time in our history. Our national debt, which was driven up by the PNP, as high as 146% of GDP, because of FinSac, high interest rate policy, and loss-making public bodies. The good management of the Jamaica Labour Party administration has cut the debt in half to 74% of GDP. We have a stable exchange rate backed by the highest central bank reserves ever in the history of Jamaica.
Shout.
We have had consistent growth And when we have been hit by shocks such as pandemic, storms and hurricanes, we have been able to recover quickly. This speaks to a new quality of the Jamaican economy developed by this administration which never existed before, and that is resilience. The ability to withstand shocks and difficulties and recover quickly and even more stronger than before without relying on borrowing or external help. Marcus Garvey would have been proud, very proud of our resilience and self-reliance as a nation and as Jamaicans and Labourites. You can be proud of what your government has achieved. Economic management is a means to an end, ultimately cutting the debt in half, stabilizing the exchange rate, stimulating full employment, must translate into better roads, better housing, better health care, better education, better wages, better garbage collection, improved security, indeed a better quality of life for all Jamaicans. Your government understands this, but your government also understands that you cannot have a sustainably better life without a strong, growing and resilient economy. However, we would be mistaken to believe that a strong economy by itself will automatically lead to a better quality of life. To get the better quality of life from the good economy, we must be active and strong in pursuing the interests of the people. The people in Troy who were without a bridge for 2 years, the people in Rasta City who waited for their housing development for 5 years. They didn't have to wait because there was no money. We had the revenues from the economy. But what delayed their improved quality of life? What delayed it was bureaucracy, inefficiency. Things just take too long to get done. We have the capital budget, but we don't convert it fast enough into the goods, services and products that you need. And so today, as we celebrate our good economic performance, we must now create a laser focus on becoming much more efficient. We must remove the roadblocks, the red tape, the bureaucracy, the unnecessary documentation. We must become more efficient in what we are doing. The theme of our conference is active and strong, delivering on the mission of prosperity for all. I want you to know that as my administration moves to the next chapter in our economic independence journey, in ensuring you get the benefit of a good economy, we will be active and strong in cutting red tape and bureaucracy which holds up and frustrates your prosperity. We are going to be active and strong in removing the legacy requirements and outdated requirements which place a burden on you and increase your cost of living. We will be active and strong in implementing innovative ideas and technologies that increase the efficiency and effectiveness in delivering prosperity. We will be active and strong in ensuring that the vulnerable in our society, the poor in our society, those that have been left out, those that feel frustrated, we are going to be active and strong in ensuring that they too can feel a part of the prosperity train of the Jamaica Labour Party.
JLP cares for Jamaica.
We care about the people of this country. We pay close attention to what is being said about the cost of living. We didn't create this crisis of cost of living, but we are the government, and we take responsibility for steering the ship through difficult and choppy waters. And that is why, labor rights, we have always been the better sailor, the better captain of the ship of Jamaica. Whenever Jamaica faces a crisis, it is the Jamaica Labour Party that is called upon to navigate the difficult times. And we have navigated the difficult times of COVID, of supply chain shocks, of hurricanes and other natural disasters. And we have done it so well that the rest of the world holds up Jamaica as the example of a small country that is doing what is right by its people, ensuring that we are not in debt, ensuring that we have our own resources to stand on our own 2 feet and deal with crises when they occur. Under our CARE program, we announced the innovative initiative, first time ever in the history of Jamaica, a reverse income tax credit. Some of you inside here already get it. We will be giving back to persons who are self-employed or who are employed $20,000. And already we have given, when we make the payment coming up this week, 290,000 Jamaicans would have received the benefit of the reverse income tax credit. 290,000 to be specific. 290,912 Jamaicans have received cash back in their hands. When has that ever happened in the history of Jamaica? It has only happened under the Jamaica Labour Party. And this is to complement the increase in the income tax threshold from 1.5 million to 1.7 million for high-income earners. Over 200,000 persons who earn above 1.7 million would benefit from the income tax threshold. We have increased past benefits by 30% in the last budget, and that benefited 236 PAD beneficiaries. Some of you are inside here, but you imagine 236,000 Jamaicans benefited from that increase. And we did all of this because we understand the impact of food prices, particularly on you. There are a set of persons, however, that we have not fully captured in our Care Give Back program. These persons are not registered on PAD. When you walk in the campaign, we meet some of them. They are not part of our social pension system. They are not part of our NIS system. So they are just there. They're not registered, they're not known. And so they can't take part in the CARE program that the government is doing. Now, I wish to announce that starting in February, we will open applications for persons 18 years or older who are not registered on PAD, not part of the social pension, not captured anywhere or getting any benefit. They will be subject to a needs assessment by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and they will get their $20,000 check like everybody else. But this will also ensure that after they register, they remain on our register, that they get identification, that we can place them permanently on path or permanently on the social pension or permanently as NIS beneficiaries. We are going to ensure that every single Jamaican that is in need of help and assessed to be so gets the help they need from the government. We care about your electricity. We care that your electricity costs are a significant part of the cost of living that you face. Everybody complain about their electricity bill. Everybody. It is estimated that only 70% of Jamaican households can afford to pay their electricity bills. So you can understand why we have so much throw. But the people who throw, most of them don't want to throw. What they want is an electricity market, an electricity system that allows them to pay within their economic means. But the system that we have is not designed like that. While we have diversified our fuel sources, built more modern and efficient plants, we have integrated renewables, and by the way, next week, Minister Vaz will announce the winners of the 100 megawatt bid for renewables in Jamaica. In other words, we are increasing significantly renewables on our grid. While we have done all of that, there is still more that can be done to make electricity more affordable to Jamaicans, particularly those Jamaicans who earn minimum wage. We are going to transform the fiscal structure of the electricity market in Jamaica to ensure that it aligns with incentives, reduce the cost of onboarding, and increase options to the consumer. Listen to this one carefully. After the next budget, which is in March coming up, the government will reduce GCT on electricity from 15%, which it is now, to 7%. We will remove the non-tax threshold and replace this with an incentivized, compatible rebate of GCT for persons who use 200 megawatts or less per month. This will allow the rollout of prepaid electricity purchase, which was implemented many years ago, but has remained only a pilot. You know how many people want to get on the prepaid system, but because it is only a pilot, you can only get it in some places, and sometimes it's not offered. Now, the JPS will be required to roll out prepaid meters nationally, particularly in vulnerable communities.
Yes, so prosperity start.
With the simplified GCT arrangement, the JPS will also be required, listen to this one carefully now, to introduce time of day pricing of electricity. You know what that means? Time of day pricing. This means customers can benefit from better rates by arranging how they consume electricity in off-peak hours. So, you know, the peak hours is usually in the evening when everybody come home from work. Electricity high, cost high, but now the JPS can say, all right, if you use most of your electricity in off-peak hours, you pay a lower rate. So you have the option now of economizing how you use electricity. But it is also better for the grid Because right now, in peak time, everybody is using the grid, put stress on the grid. But if you can evenly distribute the use of the grid, it is more economical for everyone. The government will scale up its pilot project of onboarding customers in vulnerable communities through the Community Electrification House Wiring Program, which provides households on the program with electrical outlets, lights and switches, and GEI, that is the General Electrical Inspector certification. This will assist these communities in becoming legal JPS customers. So the Jamaica Labour Party will reduce the cost of becoming a legal JPS customer. We will reduce the tax burden on electricity, and we will improve the efficiency of the electricity sector. We will reduce the cost of living to you that electricity poses, and we will increase our growth prospects by having a more efficient electricity grid, thereby increasing our prospect for growing the economy. This is how an active, strong, and caring government demonstrates it's here for the people.
Shout, 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 shout.
My Jamaican brothers and sisters, water is life. And we must do everything to ensure every Jamaican can legally access water. So we are going to move quickly with the capital projects in water, establishing water connections where none exist before. However, where connections are already established, we can also make it easier for persons to connect. I want you to listen to this one carefully. For persons who have been disconnected from the NWC water supply for debts 2 years or more outstanding, who are pensioners, or who are assessed as being in need based on the path beneficiary identification standards, the NWC will write off totally the debt that is owed. In addition to that, we will waive the reconnection fee. This is aimed at giving relief to those persons who are suffering from weighty bills, particularly those who have had major leaks in their house and they just can't pay. But there is a connection there. There is a pipe that runs past their home, but they just don't have water because of these bills. Now, this amnesty will last for 3 months, and it will start the 2nd of January. We will not only write off the 2-year-old or older debt, but we will waive the reconnection fee, because the objective is to get you back on the system. Now, if you were disconnected for longer than 6 months, we ask you to come in to the NWC and make arrangements for payments. The NWC will discount your debt by 50%. And if there are special cases, as assessed, the discount might be even higher. This is how the government shows in a tangible way that it cares. This is how the government is dealing with the cost of living that you face. But we will go one step further. For persons who are pensioners who have taken part in this amnesty and who are being reconnected, if the reconnection is as a result of a suspected leak, the NWC will provide a leak detection service to ensure that the pensioner does not end up back in the same situation as before. The NWC will partner with the Heart Trust NSTA to train leak detection specialists to participate in this program. We hear the complaints about public transportation and the cost of transportation. Sit down, Minister Vaz. When I call your name, you stand up. Public transportation is already heavily subsidized in areas served by the JUTC. Particularly school children who are able to access the service, they benefit the most. In rural areas, however, school children, students do not systematically receive this benefit. So there is an inequity in the distribution of transportation subsidy. The Jamaica Labour Party government will fix the problem once and for all and ensure that all our students benefit from reduced transportation costs. Minister Vaz has been directed to deploy 100 new buses that he got earlier this year to urban centers in rural areas. I'm happy to see that a bus route has been established from Kingston to Morant Bay, and that is just the first in many to come. The Montego Bay Urban Transit Company was refleeted with 12 buses, which currently benefit 6,000 students from St. James, Hanover, and Trelawney. By mid next year, by June, July next year, 100 new buses will be added to the fleet. Again, these new 100 CNG buses will be distributed to urban centers in rural areas. So they will go to the urban townships, the town capitals. So that will help in ensuring that students in these areas get access to subsidized transportation. But secondly, to complement the expansion of the JUTC service, Minister Vaz has been directed and has started to develop a cashless payment system with private PPV operators so that they can carry children. The children will have a card. On that card will be the subsidy from the government that they can pay directly to private transport operators. This will further extend the subsidy to rural communities and rural students so that there is equity in the society as it relates to public transportation, and that will significantly impact the cost of living that you face. We support the workers of the tourism industry as they seek fair compensation and better work conditions. We will do our part to facilitate negotiations and to ease the cost of living burden on the workers in the tourism industry as we favorably examine the relief of taxes and tips and make a final announcement in the next budget. To lighten the burden that they are currently facing, the government will waive fees for all craft vendors in government-owned craft markets for the months of December and January. And we will write off any outstanding fees owed by the craft vendors. The craft vendors of St. Anne have been hit the hardest because of the damage to the Ocherios cruise ship pier. As such, I have instructed that the waiving of fees for the craft vendors in St. Anne will extend until June of next year when the pier is set to reopen. also want to announce that next year we will begin the tourism work on new social housing program, where the government of Jamaica, through the Tourism Enhancement Fund and hotel owners and operators, we will partner to build social housing for needed tourism workers. And there is more, but I can't say everything right now. For this academic year alone, we are spending $7.4 billion for school feeding. This is a massive increase in allocation for the nutrition of our students. We are spending significant resources to get our children in school. And we are committed to spend even more to get the last child who is not in school in school.
All right, so there you have it. Many goodies mentioned. So now we're going to have a look at what the Prime Minister said, especially with regards to his stated intention to do something about the high cost of living affecting those who are poor and vulnerable in the society. So the Prime Minister touched on the vexing issue of the high energy cost in terms of light, which not only affects the poor, but it also affects the manufacturers. But he's not dealing with the manufacturers for now. He's dealing with the poor who are finding it hard and who are unable to pay. He's also trying to reach those persons who are, Jamaican people. Them now go just say, all right, me can't pay the light, let me stay in the darkness. Then going to fling up like a wire over there for them wire, right? So he's trying to come up with a system or a scheme or some benefit that would encourage persons to stop throwing up, to register with the JPS, and to find a way to let them be able to pay bills easier. So he came up with this idea that he's going to reduce the GCT by a half. And also seems the government intends to instruct the JPS to roll out the prepaid for electricity. I don't know if that is even feasible, because electricity is not like phone, where, if the phone lock off, at least you can receive calls, right? Or they have a system where you can beg somebody a credit. Light, if you pay $3,000 for light and the light cut off, then you're not going to have any power in your house to run your fridge. The fridge, I can tell you, is the most important appliance in your house, because it's used electricity and it has to run 24/7 to cool your food, which enable you to store produce, frozen produce, and produce that, or items that needs cooling, right? So to me, I don't see how that will make any sense to the persons who are clamoring for it. I guess when they get them, they will know for sure whether it makes sense. But be that as it may, people think that they were better off with it, so fine. So he's going to be ordering them to roll it out. He's also going to enable persons to have their certification, and they're going to be providing sockets and stuff like that, so that person's house can be certified as being fit, and then they can connect to the grid. Some people have difficulties. The electrical and electrician fees are quite high, so that's helpful for those persons who are in need. He then touches on the water, and he's going to be offering to write off the water bills for persons who owe for more than 2 years, especially those that have the bill because of leaks that they had. And I believe he's proposing to do something for the pensioners with regards to water bills, and for persons to have an amnesty, and so on and so forth. Then in terms of the the tax relief or the tax return, they have a name for it, the $20,000, he's going to find those persons who are not in the system and offer the same benefits of 20,000 to them as well. But of course, they couldn't call it tax return because these are not persons paying taxes. They would have to call it something else, probably a grant. So they will also benefit, get a $20,000 and feel like, you're benefiting from government. Now, I was doing a calculation recently on, basically, it was a video I planned to do on the persons who are complaining about government for all these years. The governments have been doing this and that, and then you still have people who are complaining. So I decided I think I may know where those persons are. I wonder if I did this video already. Anyhow, let me do it now. And so what I did, I went and did some research. I wanted to know how many persons were employed in Jamaica, the number of persons that may be said to be in the job market or at least over the age of 18, and to work out how many persons actually are not working. So here's what I found out. In terms of the number of persons employed, we have 1,420,300 persons employed. And we're talking about this was part of the labor force survey, which was done April of this year, 2024. Now that 1.4 million represented 68.8% of the persons who will be able to participate in work, I suppose. When I did the calculation, I found that there were 2,064,389 persons who would have been over the age of 18, and some number of them will be available for work, right? Good. Now the voters list has 2,048,780 people. I won't, I'll try and cut it down eventually. So what I found from this, based upon the number of persons that are over 18 and those on the voters list, is that the voters list only have 15,609 people who are of working age but who are not on the voters list. Isn't that amazing? Which means that the numeration process is very excellent. Of course, it's because of the IDs why most people would, want to ensure that they have a government ID, and that's why they come to the electoral office, because it's free. Now, when you minus 1.4 million from the 2 million that is available for work, the 1.4 million, remember, are the persons who are working. What I got was that there were 644,089 persons who are not working. Now, even though there are 644,000 persons not working, which represents 31% of the population over 18, that's very high. But the unemployment rate is not 31%, because unemployment is not calculated on the basis that you're not working. It is calculated on the basis that you are not working, but you want a job and you're looking for a work, actively looking for a job. You get that? Great. So of the 2 million people who are over the age of 18, of working age, it's 4.2% of them that's actually looking for work. And that would work out now to 86,000 people that are actively out there looking for work. Good. Now, what you do next is you minus that from the 644,000 to arrive at those persons who are not working and now looking for work, like the housewives, the house husbands, persons who are studying, persons, who just get up every day and just, probably looking to migrate. For whatever reason, they're just not working. They sometimes were looking for jobs, send a resume, and nothing happen. They lose heart, and then they stop trying to find a job. Yes, so those persons make up that now. And the balance now is 557,385. Those are the people not working, not looking a job. And these are the people I suspect who may be the ones who are complaining the loudest. Because the 4.2%, those persons who are looking for a job, they will complain that there are no jobs available. That will be their main cry, because they might look at work and can't find. So they will be telling the politicians, say, we need work. You get it? Great. For the persons, though, who are working, majority of whom are minimum wage earners and less, and you have some of them may have been captured who just had 1 day work on that particular day when they did the survey. Yes, that's what the thing said. So they now would be mainly complaining about the high cost of living, right? Because that is what would be affecting them. Great. Now, so those persons will be complaining about every Jesus thing you can think of would be the 557 people who are perhaps frustrated, right? You get me? And these are the people now that tend not to get looked after by government. And I don't mean this particular government, I mean any government. Why? Because the government don't know that them exist. So when you hear Holness spoke about people that they don't know anything about them, these are the persons, right? Your housewife, them have the NIS because them never had any intention to work, you know. Many people are hustlers. Some people don't even know how to get those things. You see them go and them wash cars and so on and so forth, and therefore the system don't know about them because they don't own car, they don't have an ID, and they don't go to the bank and that sort of thing. You understand? They don't plan to travel, go anywhere, and so on. So they'll be wiping windscreen, washing cars, and all them kind of something. They're making a living, but they're not captured. Okay, great. So the challenge now for government, now that we know that there are this 557,000 people out there that would not be benefiting from NIS, would not be benefiting from the CARE program. Some of them may well be on path if they're very poor. Some of them may be on path, the 300 and something thousand people or 200 and something thousand people on path may well be figured in this 557,000 people. So we may still be talking about even less, maybe 300,000. You follow me? But the government now, the challenge now is the government now to find a way to benefit them, even though they are outside of the system, because they have no real interest in working. And that is a challenge. And if the government can figure out a way, then guess what? It would find that you have more satisfied citizenry in the country. And even these persons who are not working could feel government on the whole and feel that government is working for them. So that is my assessment on that. Now, my peeps, I don't want us to be judgmental, Remember, the fact that somebody is not gainfully employed, when I say not working, doesn't mean that they are not contributing, because a housewife is saving her family a lot of money by staying home and doing what a housekeeper could do. Not to mention that many may well be employed, but just not captured in the system because, as I said, they're really hustling, doing something, making money, probably making more money than me and you too. Who to tell? So you're saying, Michelle, get to the point, man. I want to hear what you think. All right. What do I think? To me, these are cosmetic. It's a well-tried effort. It's cosmetic, but at least it's something that government is doing. I am going to give you a secret. I have seen people lining up long lines at the Bank of Nova Scotia teller machine, right? When there is a bank round the corner, CIBC round the corner, First Global Bank, Sagicor, the cards can be used there too. And you can be in and out of them in less than 5 minutes because there are few users. But you see, just because they might go end up paying $30 or $40 or $50, then rather stand in the line for 1 hour, right, and save themselves that money than go and stick the card into another machine, pay 30, 40 or 50 or $60 and can go about their business. I wonder if you understand, that's how Jamaican people stay, right? They're not really thinking about it like that. So any reduction in their light bill, however small, they're going to appreciate it. For the persons who have these big bills because of leaks, they are going to be extremely happy with this arrangement. And I'm sure their neighbors will be very happy for them too, the families and so on. And those the other benefits. He never said he was going to do anything more with the path. He simply mentioned that was in the last budget. I do believe he said he's going to put some more money in the school feeding programs and so on. That's damn good, right? Not to mention the expansion of the JUTC service, if that is what they're going to call it, to all urban centers so that the children of the persons in a rural area can benefit from government subsidy. Damn good idea as well. But Mr. Vaz, we need you to do something about what's going on in Kingston. I'm not supposed to be sitting in Crossroads for more than half an hour and don't see a JUTC bus coming from Halfway Tree or even from Old Hope Road downtown or from downtown going uptown. Not even one in half an hour? What kind of slackness is that? What you did with the buses then? You have the buses then, you have them in the depot. We're talking about round about 11 o'clock in the morning. Why is it that motor cars are driving on the JUTC bus routes and there's no police to prosecute them for it and take? You need to start to take away the road license from these people. Once you catch them, don't just fine them. Take away the road license, right? Because it's not safe to be driving in these vehicles either. Then you have these coaster buses traveling from Constant Spring downtown, from Spanish Town into Kingston, overcharging the people. What you doing about that, Mr. Vaz? Now you say your name, Killer Vaz. Or you're getting old and soft now. What's going on there? And Mas Darrell, on behalf of the people who live in St. Mary, can you explain why it is that the people are applying for licenses to travel between Port Murray and Halfway Tree and can't get no license, but there is not one blasted bus on that route? What is the government doing about that? Yes, man, make me heart full. So please, do something about it, man, because what is going on is not good enough. Not good enough at all. Now, I want to make a suggestion, though, in terms of the electricity. Take a look at this. This is Florida, right? Where the federal government, sometimes the state, they're offering a program for the elderly persons in the United States who are subscribers to have a discount, $9.25 per month discount on their internet service. And what they're saying is that this is helpful to the elderly because they can go online and they can shop, they can pay their taxes and do banking transaction and so on. So they find it useful to subsidize the internet service for the elderly. This one says Florida offers several programs to help the elderly with light and power bills, including, and they have this program called EHEAP, EHEAP. I'll bring it up bigger so you can see what it says. Now, I know you younger folks might be saying, yeah, Michelle, but this is for old people. What about weed? It won't be fair. Well, I want you to listen carefully to the wording that is being used here. Listen carefully now, all right? It says emergency home energy assistance for the elderly. This says, listen now, a federal funded program. Federal is the federal government. So in our case, it will be the central government. So it's a federally funded program that helps low income what? Households, not low income individual, low income households with at least one person aged 60 or older pay for emergency energy costs. EHEAP can provide up to $3,500 per year in non-repayable funds. Per year, you know. Households can receive assistance up to twice a year. So this is a benefit to the households that have the elderly, just one elderly person in it. So it's a benefit to the elderly, but the young people that are there will also benefit. The government could look at something like this as well. Have a little program for them, no man. We have money like dirt now, Mr. Prime Minister. You are telling me so. So therefore, we can do a little something for those persons as well who may have the elderlies, the elder persons, and they're not able to take care of them because, on $15,000 a week, you're not going to go very far. So if we can help as taxpayers, I don't mind. And I hope others in the comment section can tell us what they think about it. And if you have your own ideas, put it there, because me I hear all kind of nubs. I watch my program, my dear sirs, and then look like them I read the comments too. So they will get at your ideas. So please think on it. Okay, so that's it for me today. I want to thank you so much for being so patient. It's the first time in a long time I've produced such a long video, but you have been very wonderful. So thanks so much for joining me. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, leaving your comments. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and walk good.